and so beautiful. And then the third time I heard the Father, he said it, this time he said it, and I felt that rushing water again. And he said, "That is you." And when he said that, the force, the power of his voice, it pushed me into that body, that form. It it was like soon as he said it is you, you know how you take a rubber band and you stretch it as far as it can go and let it go and it pops. That's exactly how it felt. And I popped into that form and I put it on. And when I was in there, my destiny, me, my earthly personality, it was transformed. I can't tell you what the conversation was, why I had put on that form, or when I had put on that form. But all I know is I was speaking to the angel Gabriel in that language that I had heard when I first got there, that language that sounded like music, which was later revealed to me, excuse me, to be the word of God. That is why I couldn't understand it. When I first got there, all I knew is it sounded like this beautiful music, but it was actually words. I could hear the words, but I could not perceive them. I could not understand what they were saying, and I was trying so hard to say, what are they saying? What does that mean? What are they talking? What is that language? But when I had put on that form, I was speaking that language as if it was like the only language I had ever known. And I was hearing it and I was amazed. I was amazed. And God put his hand in that form and he pulled my soul out like me, the regular destiny, right? He pulled me out. And as he was pulling me out, I heard like the remnants of the conversation that I was having with the angel Gabriel in that language. And I heard me say his name, and his name was Gabriel, but in the language that we were speaking, it didn't sound like Gabriel. I knew that it's spelt with 24 characters. This is the knowledge that I had. It was just like a knowing. It was like his name sounds different when you say it in this language, but you know it to be the angel Gabriel as we know it to be written in the word of God. But his name in heaven is spelled with 24 characters or letters. I couldn't really, when I got back, that's like the only knowledge that I had from, that part of the experience concerning Gabriel. Like his name is written with using 24 characters or 24 letters, but I can hear it, how it sounded, but we can't speak it. We can't in that language that I heard. It's like our vocal cords are limited. We can't sound like how I heard it there. And so he pulled me out and then he put me on his hand. And I was just like, you know how like back in the day you get the, and they probably still make these, but the jury boxes when you lift up the jury box, the little ballerina that twirls around. That's how I felt. I felt that little in his hand. And he put me on his hand. And now I'm staring at this form, right? This form. And puts me on his hand and he starts doing this around the form. And he's giving me a tour of this form. And he's like basically letting me, like he's pulling everything up, magnifying everything. So I'm looking at the skin. Now, when I first seen this form, when I was standing in front of the angel Gabriel, when I was like distracted looking at this form, when I was seeing all these lights dancing off of it, I thought that those like I knew that the skin wasn't like human skin. It didn't look like my skin. It wasn't like Destiny Brown skin, right? The skin was made, it looked like somebody took like if you would take all the gemstones in the world that ever existed, will ever exist, and crush them up and then paint them on. That's how the skin looked. I know that's like you really can't imagine it. I can see it because I actually saw it, but the way it looked, it just looked like painted on gemstones, right? And that was the light that was reflecting that I was seeing. But when God had put me on his hand to like let me see, because I was intrigued with this form, because now I'm accepting this is actually me. I can't believe it. Like it's so beautiful and perfect. Like there was nothing that could be added or taken away from it that would make it any more perfect and beautiful, right? And so he's taking me around it and he's pulling up these details that he wants me to see. And the first thing that he showed me was the skin. It wasn't painted on gemstones. They were individually placed gems. And he gave me the understanding. I knew that the Father himself created me. That was, I can't even get it out because it's unbelievable. He did that with his own hand. Every gemstone was perfectly placed exactly where he wanted it. That's why it was perfect. That's why I kept saying it's so perfect. But I didn't know why it was perfect. I just knew it was perfect and beautiful. But that was made known to me that he put, and it was like they formed the skin. They formed the skin of it. And it was so beautiful, like the colors that danced off it. It was like it emanated this sea of colors I'd never seen before. And then so